Hi! So, as promised, I'm making you a short video about screens because I think it's always a conversation. We read a lot of things around it. I did a lot of work with my children about their behavior and everything, but really I was more curious about what was frustrating me is to understand what was actually happening, like going on. To give you an example, like last week, like Thursday, Sunday. It was Sunday. Last Sunday, my son woke up and he asked me, he's 9 years old, and he woke up and he asked me, "Oh, Mom, can I play with the computer today?" Because they only get to play and use screens on weekends. So usually, maybe, I'm rethinking that because he's like waking up and being like, "It's weekend, let's have screens." So I'm not sure it was the best strategy. I'll let you know about that. But anyway, I told him, very non-commitmental parent style, like, yeah, maybe later. And I left it like this, open. And after brunch, my husband offered to go rock climbing. He was like, let's go rock climbing all together and have fun. And everybody was in except my youngest son, who was like, "No, I don't feel like rock climbing. I don't know. I just want to stay home." And he really loves rock climbing. He's into it. So I thought it was weird, but maybe he was tired because of school or something. And I thought, okay, let's see how we can organize ourselves so that I can stay at home with him and you guys go rock climbing. And I was about to sacrifice my rock climbing for my son because I thought he was tired or something. And then I was just like, wait a minute. So I went to my son and I was like, you're not tired or anything. You just want to stay home so you can play with the computer while everybody is going rock climbing. You're going to be like, "I'm so bored, I'm alone. Can I play the computer?" And I was like, okay, this is not going to happen. And you should have seen the look on his face. It was like, it was so that. I mean, I nailed it. So we all went rock climbing. And he got to play later in the afternoon. But still, I was dumbfounded. I was like, he really loves rock climbing. And he was willing to sacrifice it for like 15 minutes of computer. Well, obviously, he doesn't have a good sense of time. So he couldn't really compare 2 hours of rock climbing and 15 minutes of computer. But still. And luckily, the week after, I was invited to a lecture about screens and their effects on children, and in my kids' school, and it was very interesting, really. So I'm going to share a few things with you today because I don't want to make this video too long. Just a few basics so that you also finally understand why our children are like screen. Yeah, hey, it's good to know, So anyway, I'd like to start with a quick visualization. So close your eyes, okay, and picture your child watching TV, for example, watching a movie, So he's there, he's watching a movie, and you see your child, okay? They're like just the eyes moving and everything else is super still, You can see them in a bit of the blue light and you can see their eyes going like tick, 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 right, left. And they can stay like that for ages, right? I mean, they don't seem to feel the cold, they don't seem to feel the warmth or the hunger or the numbness in their feet or legs. It's like they're hypnotized, sorry. And we've all seen our children like that. And we've seen those tests on YouTube, you're still watching your child. You say he's not moving, or she's not moving. You can come back to me, open your eyes, because your child can stay there for the whole presentation. So just let them being watching TV. And we've seen those videos. I don't know if you've seen them on YouTube. In families, and the kids are having dinner, and they're on their tablets, and the parents actually get out of the table and a stranger replaces them on their chair and the kids don't even notice. I mean, they're on the tablet, there is a stranger sitting there in their kitchen, they don't even see them. This is actually crazy. And again, that really made me like, what is going on? How is that even possible, So, okay, so it all takes place in the brain, and I was lucky to have this lecture with a great psychotherapist who is very knowledgeable, and it was super interesting. So she made it very simple, and I'm gonna just make it as simple for you all. The idea being just to understand the concept, like why our children are so addicted. Okay, so basically our brain, I'm so ready, look at that. Crayons, well, we always have crayons everywhere when we have kids, right? And paper. So let me turn a little bit that screen, and let me try and draw something that looks not too ugly. Okay, so this, okay, like that. I'm gonna make it red because it's good color. Okay, this is our reptilian brain. That's your reptilian brain. You like it? Okay, and that's what is the reptilian brain? I guess you know it. It's where you have the instinct, where you have the survival, where you have the territory things, and the reactions. You know, like fly or fight. You know, this is the reptilian brain, and then around it, we have the limbic brain. Or do you say limbic or limbic? I think you say limbic. I'll go for that. And if not, you'll excuse my French accent. Okay, so let's make it green. And what is the limbic brain? It's the mammal brain. So it's where we have the emotions. That's where we have the feelings, the emotions, and impulse control. All right? And then something that we human have, and that we only human have, is maybe dolphins have it. Actually, I don't know. And this is the neocortex. Let's make it blue. So neocortex is where we have the reflection, analysis, thought. I mean, that's where the magic happens, right? That's where we build cities and planes and medicine and all these things. Okay, so this is our brain, okay? Like neocortex, limbic, and reptilian, right? So now, why is that important? Well, have you heard of dopamine? All right, I'm gonna keep it that there, so you keep it in mind. It looks like a kind of a cauliflower, doesn't it? A broccoli. Well, anyway, dopamine. Dopamine is an hormone that helps the neurons communicate between them, but it's also what gives you this feeling of pleasure, you know? For example, okay, let's say you have a long day, your children are finally sleeping, but you're still you can still feel your nerves trickle, you can find the pressure, the tension in your shoulders, and you're like, maybe I'll get a bit of chocolate, you know, that would be good. Well, I would go for a glass of wine, but then, you know, anyone has his little pleasure, that's the thing, because when you do that, your body, your brain release dopamine. Why is that? Because when the brain is in displeasure, he wants pleasure instead. And stress is a displeasure, so he wants pleasure. And what is pleasure is the fastest way to have it is instant gratification, like dopamine. Makes any sense? Like you have a displeasure, and then your brain is like, I want not that displeasure. So you're like, okay, let's find something. Oh, chocolate. Oh, wine. Or screen. Like watch TV. You know, whatever. And that's instant gratification. Straight away you have dopamine, and you have the pleasure hormone diffusing in your brain, and you're like rewarded for taking that quick step to help your brain not feeling stressed. Okay? So this is how it works. Now, the very important thing here that explains everything about the screens is that the brain works in a way that when a part of the brain is activated, if a lower part of the brain is activated, all the upper parts are disconnected. Makes sense, right? Like, I don't know if you have you're in face of a bear, you don't want to have a reflection about it or analyze the situation, or you don't want your emotions to overcome you. So your reptilian brain is like survival mode, and it's cutting everything. It's cutting the emotion, it's cutting the reflection, it just goes into pure reaction, okay? So this is how it works. And this is how it works with screen too. So when the kids watch screen, the dopamine that it releases, it goes from here, from the reptilian brain. Dopamine is reptilian. Yeah. So that means that when your child are watching a screen and they are having their dopamine, their instant gratification, their limbic system, which is the emotions and the impulse control, is disconnected, as well as the reflection and analyze, like disconnected. So you cannot go in front of your child who's watching a TV and try to, have him understand things like, screen is not good for your eyes, and you've been watching it, like you're reasoning with actually a reptilian brain. Can you basically like have a reflection, a conversation with a lizard? No, you can't. Well, same here. So that's it. That's dopamine is pure instinct. You get the territory, you get the survival, because it's going to fight for it. It's like it feels like it has to fight for that dopamine to stay into that state. And the reactions. So there is no more like here you have reflection, here you have reaction. I'm sure you have seen that with your children when they're on the screen, right? It's pure reaction. They yell, they cry, they whatever when you stop them. But that's what happens. So when a child is asking for screen, what he's really asking for is dopamine. And so just the one thing you can remember, and I'm going to write it here, like dopamine, all right? That's the thing he's looking for. And what is dopamine? It's pleasure, it's instant gratification, it's to cut a stress or a discomfort or something. And what happens is that when the other thing you want to remember is that when a lower part of the brain is activated, the other parts are deactivated. All right? So when your child is into his dopamine, he doesn't have no more control over his impulses, his emotions, and he doesn't have the ability to analyze or reflect on things. And so that's how it works. Well, I felt super good to know how it works and to understand this thing of the levels of the brain and everything. And there is much more about it, of course, what happens to the children really when they watch a screen, like to their body, or how it does impact their brain development, because there are some stages in the neurological development of the child, and some special milestones at 7, 9, and 11, 12. And there are some things happening in the brain, and if they watch too much screen, then that's not so good. I could explain about that in another video if you're interested, and also about, how how the apps, how they work, they tell you like, this is an educational app, or this is a creative app to make music or to paint or to draw, and you feel maybe less guilty, like, but my child, is doing something artistic, or he's doing an educational app, but it's not really how it works. Basically, like, for example, apps, their only goal is to capture attention and to create a reaction, again, reptilian brain. So yeah, it's a lot of reptilian in all those screens, and anyway, also imagination. It touches a lot of things, and but I want to keep this video under 15 minutes, so I'm not going to talk about it today. If you want to more about it, like I said, about the effects on the body, on the neurological development, if you want to explore some solutions, some options to improve things in your home, well, just let me know and I can make a second video. I'll be happy to. But for now, that's it. And I wish you all a beautiful Christmas. And next video would be for next year, I guess, because now we are all busy cooking biscuits and packing presents, right? So everybody have a Merry Christmas, a beautiful New Year, and see, Feliz Navidad. Ciao.